the few of you who made it out tonight. Thank you so much. We're so happy to have Kira here. So let me introduce her. So Kira is a recent graduate of Purchase College, SUNY. December 2022, she majored in arts management, minor in screenwriting. You know, I really want to learn screenwriting.
You should, it's fun.
Sounds fun. I know you are in the screenwriting class right now and whatnot, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
You know, passionate about entertainment, business, and arts education, Kira hopes to push the boundaries of traditional entertainment in the future and increase diverse representation and accessibility. Through Purchase College's Arts Management program, Kira has been able to study marketing, producing, communications, activism, finance, funding, and even law, all with applications to the arts and entertainment industry. Through family company Sound Spectrum Entertainment, Kira has attended conferences for the Global Association for the Attractions Industry. She has attended the Mobile Entertainment Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada this February, as well as the special event in Orlando, Florida this March to assist with guest speakers' presentations. She is a Connecticut native and she is so excited to be with us tonight. I'll also add, at Purchase College, Kira was president of the Arts Management Club. She was the membership manager of Women in Animation at Purchase College, was also an RA and a teaching assistant for the class Fundamentals of Arts Management. On a personal note, just from me as president, thank you all for being here tonight. I also want to thank Kira. Here's the special thing about Kira. So Kira and I actually went to high school together. We were in the musical together for 2 years?
Yeah. Maybe 2 years?
Maybe 2 years, right? And over fall semester, I actually messaged Kira because, as everyone knows, we're planning a big arts festival next month. And so Kira was actually planning an arts festival over at Purchase College, and she had posted about it, and I had direct messaged her. And I was like, Kira, we're doing the same thing here at Quinnipiac. You remember that?
Copycat.
You remember that? Yes. And we're doing the same exact thing. And so eventually eBoard was talking over winter break, and we're like, you know what, we would really like to bring someone over to campus. And I remembered that conversation because it's the exact same thing that we're doing here at Quinnipiac, which is forwarding our arts community, right? So without further ado, welcome Kira. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Like I said, this is just going to be a fun little, I don't even know if I want to refer to this as a presentation, but more so a discussion about arts management, what arts management is, how you can use it day-to-day life. It's applicable at the student involvement level. Sean and I talk about that literally all the time. And just a few pointers here and there, and we could discuss pretty much whatever you want. If you have a story you feel like you could relate to or any questions, just feel free to interrupt. We're just going to do this very casually. So a little more about myself. Sean already gave a beautiful introduction. So like Sean said, I was born and raised in Wallingford, so I'm only about 15 minutes away from here. I always thought Quinnipiac was such a beautiful school, so again, thank you so much for having me here. I'm super excited to be here tonight. Yes, I'm a recent graduate of Purchase College, December 2022, so I just got my BA, it was actually just mailed to me yesterday, in arts management with a minor in screenwriting. You can see my student involvement up there. I have experience, since I was 16 years old, I've been working with Sound Spectrum Entertainment, which is mobile entertainment, so DJs, live performers, you name it, lighting systems, sound systems. I've been around that pretty much my whole life, and I just represented the company at MEX, the Mobile Entertainment Expo, in Las Vegas last week, and then in a few weeks I will be at a similar event called the Special Event in Orlando. I have experience as both an artist and an arts manager. I used to be a performer. Now I do a bit more of graphic design and of course the business aspect of things. And I'm an unapologetic Disney adult. I love throwing it out there because you're going to see a bunch of Disney memes and references, even like a little video we're going to watch. So without further ado, here's what I wanted to talk about today. We might talk about some things more than others. So we're actually going to answer the question, what is arts management? It's something that's not offered at many schools. Arts management versus communications. I heard Quinnipiac has a huge comm program, so Most likely you've taken courses in the comm program, and we can compare and contrast. They are very similar, and I feel they go hand in hand for just some of the best collaborations out there. The idea that art is everywhere, so even though my business degree lies heavily in the arts industry, how applicable it is everywhere, even though that sounds so narrow and specific. Student involvement and beyond, again, arts management applications, art in general. You guys are the Student Artist League, so I feel like that's so important. A new thing that I wanted to try discussing, and I'm about to actually speak about this on a podcast that's based out of Long Beach, California. LinkedIn, but also linked out.
Woo.
So I'll get more into detail about that when we get to it. The idea when to say no, I think that's something we're seeing a lot more in our industry and in the workforce. And finally, what they don't teach you in school. Okay, so what actually is arts management? So the textbook definition that has the actual word in the definition, the management and organization of arts and cultural organizations of all kinds. A lot of people say, oh yeah, you manage art. Pretty much that's exactly what it is. Arts and entertainment, again, cultural organizations. These could be for-profit or not-for-profit. It is the management aspect of it, the business component, the finance, the funding, the things that many arts and cultural groups may not be as familiar with. We support them. To get more into detail or to kind of give somewhat of a clearer understanding, the subgenres include, but they're not limited to. It's what a lot of people go into who pursue arts management. Entertainment and media management, so this could be like music labels, artist management, arts education. Education is a huge part of what we do. Arts advocacy, art is very political, and of course, public art. That's a huge thing. We're seeing it more and more. But why though? What's the point? Okay, well, skills learned and practiced through arts management, whether you study that, that's what it says on your degree, or not. Marketing, fundraising, presenting like I'm doing right now. Budgeting and financial management, you know that's important in literally whatever you pursue in life, unfortunately. Management of staff, that's a huge one. You guys do that right now as student leaders. Even if you haven't had a management position in the workforce yet, you're doing it right now by being a student leader. Education, of course, I can't emphasize that enough. I love to use the term education very loosely, not just teacher-student, but I love the idea of enforcing education peers among peers like we're doing right now. I think that's so important. The best way to learn is by doing, collaborating. Personally, I'm a kinesthetic learner, so by doing things together, I think that's some of the best education we can get. And law, a huge part of what we do. Copyright, trademark.
Do you ever, I'm sorry.
Oh, of course, no, go ahead. Do you want to go back?
Do you ever have, is it ever confusing to work with so many different things, or does it all come together, you know, collectively as, you know, one thing that you're working in separate parts?
It can be very chaotic, especially when different people have different responsibilities and you don't frequently follow up. I know, Sean, you are amazing at following up. You were on me all of last week. Thank God, so I could stay on my toes. I think frequently following up, if you have a smaller group, a larger group, that's a huge key. Communicating, but also finding a balance, making sure you're not taking on too many roles yourself. I'm sure as a leader, a lot of us love to be control freaks. I'll admit that was me for the longest time. If you want something done right, you gotta get it done yourself. Kind of trusting other people, helping them along the way, teaching them, so you're not doing every little thing yourself and you could give more focus to the less things you're doing. Does that kind of answer your question? That kind of helps? Cool.
Thank you.
So here is an obnoxiously excessive list of what I would refer to as mediums of art. I've got subgenres, neo-genres. These are just a few. I'm not going to read them all, but you get an idea. There's music, theater, dance, visual arts, film. I kind of have this adjusted for 2023 because even though a teacher might not say that to you, a professor might not say that to you, an arts expert who's been in this for decades, they might not say this to you. But for me, anything that involves creativity is art. That includes the YouTubers, the TikToks, the graphic design that's specifically for social media, the other variations of art that are around the world, things that are new, things that are obscure, things that have been around for a long time. So I'm just saying that it is not limited to the fine arts that we see in traditional theater, traditional music, traditional visual arts. We're seeing so much, I feel like we're in another art renaissance right now, honestly, with what we're seeing with the social media age. So art is everywhere, long story short. It's everywhere. Every little creative choice you make day to day, I personally would consider art. So arts management versus communications. Like I said before, I heard that Quinnipiac is an amazing school for communications. You guys have so many programs and courses. So I made a Venn diagram that you might agree with some things, you might disagree with some things. It's just to kind of give an idea that there are so many similarities, or that there are so many general business things that you get out of both arts management and communications. I've made this with the help of my friend who is graduating from Baruch in New York City this coming May. Can everyone see this okay? Is the size? Cool. Does anyone have any comments? If you want to disagree with me on some things, that's totally cool. Suggestions, questions? Yeah.
So I have one.
Yeah.
Why would you say communications is more technology-based than arts
management? I would say because, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because I feel you have more of a communications background than I do, but I would say the curriculums for communications courses as well as different types of communications careers, it sounds like you cover a lot more different genres of media than in arts management. Does that make sense?
Makes sense, yes.
We're not writing as much, and I feel that we are not as technology-based. That doesn't mean we're never on a computer or anything like that, but I have a feeling that there might be some more education and experience when it comes to different software programs to make these different variations of media possible. So student involvement, why we're here. We're student leaders. That is so cool. That means you guys are the future of what's going on here at Quinnipiac and wherever the road takes you next. So you're in the business of communicating and connecting, whether you're pursuing something involving the arts or in media. You have the power to bring your campus community together because you have these skills, right? One thing I always love to give advice on, if you're trying to do something big or that hasn't been done before, hasn't been done in a while, such as an arts festival, right? Take surveys. See what your peers' entertainment interests are and brainstorm how you can build off of that. Things that are collaborative help so much: concerts, dances, festivals, magazines. Things that are collaborative, try to think about it that way. Think of what would you want to know about the campus community that you might not know unless you take a survey. Surveys are huge. Projects and events that require several different roles. Here we go with the collaborative component of it. They create a great opportunity to network, just making friends even. Of course, there are people that can help you in the future, but this really builds community within the campus that you have right now. So some of these roles, let's say you're doing something involving the arts, you've got performers, sound and lighting designers, photographers, journalists, social media reps, marketing, even sponsors that might be third party or through the school. Something that's a team effort is what really makes that heavy impact at the end of the day, because so many people are involved. That's how we're all going to stay connected. So of course, student involvement, sometimes, it's frustrating. You have your other classes, you have a job, you have your social life, you also have the school itself. There's so much. Maybe not everyone sees eye to eye on things all the time. So there's certain policies that might create some barriers or challenges. I always love to say these things for people who are struggling or maybe just having a hard time with that student involvement, finding that motivation. Let's say you're having an event, not as many people attend it as you had hoped. I know that's a huge thing. I see that all the time. That's an issue at every college campus. These are two things that I'd love to say to student leaders that are expressing that frustration, because I'm one of them myself. It's an opportunity to leave your mark at the school, make that impact. It's an opportunity for whether it's something that is personal to you or to others, promoting accessibility and inclusivity. Those are huge things. Those are huge things I hope to promote in the future with whatever I do in arts and entertainment management. And this one too, student involvement. It's an excellent resume builder. Like, you're frustrated, you have these small events, they're not getting to where you want them to be, you're not achieving your goals by the deadlines they want to be. That's okay. You also have this going on. We still see your hard work. You are still accomplishing amazing things. Student involvement, again, the resume builder. But it could be a catalyst for bigger projects in the future, even if those are projects that you don't pursue during your time here on campus. These could be things that even go into post-grad, right? And of course, probably one of the most inspirational quotes, in my opinion, be the change you want to see. So here's a new take, LinkedIn, but also linked out. We are so obsessed with LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is great. If you do not have, raise your hand if you have a LinkedIn account. Okay, you guys are amazing. You get it. It's the oldest social media platform, even more than like Facebook, MySpace. It was established in 2003. So here's some crazy statistics. 8 people are hired every minute through LinkedIn. Here's a brand new one. A 2022 study shows that there was an 88% increase in LinkedIn hires. This is the future. This is expanding upon your resume. That's one thing I love about LinkedIn. It's that opportunity to display all your experience, your education, your skills, and that really nice organized structure, but without the restrictions of a traditional college undergrad level resume. You know, they keep saying, oh, don't go beyond 2 pages. Some places are like, don't go beyond 1 page. LinkedIn is your opportunity to display everything that you want to display without those restrictions. So LinkedIn is amazing, right? Yes, but take breaks. And I'm going to tell you why. Beware. LinkedIn can be just as toxic as any other social media platform. I see some head nods. This is not a new concept to you guys, huh? You know, it's so funny. At Purchase, I started explaining this during a club meeting, and they're like, really? I never thought about it that way, but it's LinkedIn. It's not like it's Instagram. I'm like,
Unless
So
you
you
use
guys-
it like it's Instagram.
and people do they not?
I, for one, do actually.
Yeah? It's, you know, it's good for you, but at the same time, it feels like Instagram, right? All the new features kind of give it that opportunity to act as a Facebook or Instagram platform, which great because you can have fun with it, and it's something that's networking. It's so great for your future career-wise, but it can be toxic. I said right here, I put the little fancy SpongeBob letters, right? It promotes toxic positivity sometimes. Like, you're not going to post. I remember this exact story I was telling Sean. No one is going to post on LinkedIn. I applied to 15 jobs today. No one's going to post that unless they got one of them, right? Unless they got one of those 15 jobs. You all know this by now. Applying to a job is so much work itself. The things they ask of us nowadays, it's a whole process. Just for me to become, like, I'm a part-time substitute teacher right now in the middle schools in Wallingford. It took me 2 weeks to apply for that job because it was a government job. I had to attend appointments, I had to attend interviews, I had to get myself fingerprinted because it's a government position. That's so much work. You're not posting that kind of stuff on LinkedIn, even though it's hard work and you're accomplishing stuff. You're only going to post when you get that job, right? Or something amazing is happening.
And just to add to that, even on the thing of toxic positivity, like, people will not necessarily post like, I applied to 15 jobs and get in. But if they do, they post it as, hey everyone, I applied to 15 jobs today didn't get any of them, but you know what? I keep on trying, and they twist it into that positive thing, sort of. But no one goes
No,
out there
really
and
knock you
says,
down.
no one ever goes out there and says, I applied to 15 jobs today, didn't get it. Life sucks. Which is really how they actually.
And it's one of those situations, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Because if you put that, people will think, oh, well, this person's looking for sympathy or attention. Maybe I should give them, you know, encouragement because they're asking for it. As opposed to, I'm gonna keep going. Oh, you're so inspirational, you work so hard, you inspire me. It doesn't seem to work out anyway, does it? So that's why I say it's just as toxic as any other social media. I have the medical definition of toxic positivity. Yes, it is a part of like American vocab right now. It's the belief that no matter how dire or difficult a situation is, people should maintain a positive mindset, rejects all difficult emotions in favor of a cheerful and often falsely positive facade. I think that's a great definition of it. And, you know, everyone says, oh, you just gotta be positive, you gotta be optimistic, you gotta persevere, right? If we don't allow ourselves to feel, that's just as bad as the trying to stay positive. So yeah, with what we're seeing on LinkedIn, we've all pulled out our phones right now and saw, you know, that jerk that we went to high school with or something. And, you know, maybe they were a certain way at high school and now you see that they posted, I just landed a position with NBC. That's all they say. You're like, this guy got a position with NBC. Well, how do you know that their new position with NBC is not custodial? And I'm not saying that to speak negatively about a custodial position. You know, if you're working your way up from there or something, or that this is something you're doing part-time, amazing. You know, this is what you want to do, awesome. But a lot of people I notice when they get these jobs with like corporations and stuff, because it's such an impressive, you know, title to work for, they're very vague about what their position actually is. It might be a remote internship. It might be, again, custodial. It's just what are the first things that come to our mind when we think of those corporations when someone says they get a job, right? We think of the suit and the briefcase, right? It's all about how you word things or how you don't. And I cannot emphasize this enough, especially people in arts and entertainment. This industry is not even about what you know. It's about who you know. The networking. There might be nepotism, you know? So many different things. AI in the hiring process, that's a whole other presentation. It's a huge thing right now. So, yeah, every once in a while, you know, got LinkedIn. Keep checking it. You never know what's going to come up on there. Amazing things could happen, but also, link out every once in a while. For yourself. You're doing great, don't worry. When to say no. On top of the LinkedIn, on top of the social media, on top of the job search, being a student, having a job, whether that's on campus, off campus, student leader, all those things. You're trying to graduate, you have a life, you know, you have a significant other, whatever it is that you're dealing with. Sometimes you have to say no. I think we're doing a much better job now about talking about this. You can't say yes to everything. You don't want to take on too many things and not put your best into all those things. Take a few things where you could do more of a committed job with that integrity. So here we go. It started with a little favor when Mickey was busy. It started with, can I borrow a stick of butter? What happened at the end? He just couldn't stop saying no. He lost everything. Don't let that happen to you. Whether it's physical things, your mental health, sometimes you just have to set that boundary. It's not about not being nice. That's a huge part of it. Like, I don't want to be mean, or I don't want to hurt this person's feeling. It's knowing that your time, your efforts, your talents are highly valuable. You know, treat them like they are valuable because they are. I'll remember this as well, especially in such a social industry where we're collaborating all the time. It's important to pay attention and take care of that mental health. Try not to take on more than you can handle. I don't always like saying don't, so I'm gonna say try to take on more than you can handle because I know it's difficult. Prioritize the important things that looks different to everybody. Academics, family, health, whatever applies to you specifically. Another thing, trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Like, you know, when you're about to make a decision, you're just kind of, you have that feeling in your stomach, this might not be the best idea, or I don't know, this is a risk, this could happen. It could even be just, oh, this might be more stress I'm taking on, even if it's not necessarily a bad decision. So just really listen to that gut, and then finding that balance between taking the opportunities that could really change things for you guys and setting the healthy boundaries. You do you. Never let that peer pressure get to you and influence those decisions. I could tell Student Artist League, you guys are doing something absolutely amazing. You are on an incredible path. Don't let any outside factors, you know, kind of weigh in on that and that decision making. I think you guys are doing something absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see what you guys do with this arts festival idea and any other ideas that you are working on making into a reality right now. So you do you. And here are my final thoughts. These are so random. These are things that they do not teach you in school. These are not things that they are probably going to tell you in class. I mean, watch, you guys have class tomorrow and someone tells you something. But presentations, events, interviews, all those professional things. Of course, dress to impress, but also it's a great idea to do that as your authentic self. Own your style, you know, that's the branding. I know we learned about that in communications, we learned about it in arts management, whether you always wear your favorite color, you've got that distinct laugh or something. Recruiters want to see the real you. If you're hired, they're gonna find out the real you anyway. Plus, you've got to stand out from the other candidates. I remember having a professor, I think it was a communications course about going to that interview. I remember she said, we're black on black on black. The blazer, the pants, high heels if you can. But if we all dress like that, how would we stand out? Or what is our work personality type even? So just a little something to think about next time you guys have a big presentation or an interview or whatever it may be. There's more than one right way to do things. A lot of people like to disagree with this right away. It's, you know, that fixed mindset thing I'm sure you guys have seen in courses or presentations. What's the difference between an open mindset and a closed mindset? I feel like that's something we discuss a lot. So no, there's different ways to go about things, and that's totally cool. You'll never know everything. Don't beat yourself up. Allow yourself to learn new things and evolve every day. Even when you've mastered that skill, there might be something a little different you could learn every day and apply it to that. Your dreams and goals change. I'm sure the person you were freshman year is not the person you're going to be senior year. Everything changes. I mean, my senior year of high school, I still thought I was going to be, you know, into performing and all that. No way. No way. Don't let people tell you that that's giving up. I like to refer to it more as your dreams and your goals change. Rejection, it doesn't define you. Again, AI hiring is a problem now. So again, don't beat yourself up. I cannot emphasize that enough. Sometimes it has nothing to do with your experience, your education, or your skills. It could be the time you applied. There's so many different factors. Of course, you know, you didn't get your dream job, or there was something you were looking forward to that didn't work out. Yeah, go back on your resume, see what you can improve on. But don't beat yourself up and just assume that I was the worst possible candidate and there's nothing there's nothing I could have contributed, because that is far from the truth. It's also incredibly difficult to change minds right away, especially, you know, older generations that, again, the fixed mindset. It's very difficult to change minds, but don't give up. Some people could be very stubborn. They have a very set way they like to do things. Pick your battles on that, but keep trying as well. No one knows students better than other students, so that networking now, again, I know I said linked out, but LinkedIn, you can use that to reach out to other students, not just employers. I think that's even how some regular friendships are made through LinkedIn, with people going after, you know, the same goals. And allow yourself and others to feel empathy is an essential trait for this industry. Because art, I know that's something we're all interested in here, it's very sensitive. So allow yourself to feel with it. And lastly, I know every time I think I'm done, be kind to yourself. I say this to people all the time because we're always saying be kind to others, and it's so important to be kind to others. But you gotta be kind to yourself too. Because that's how you're going to keep going. And you guys are really cool, so let's keep in touch. Here's my info. I have my email, I've got my Insta, I've got my LinkedIn up there, but also don't forget to link out sometimes. If you want to take pictures of that, add me, whatever you want to do, I could put that back up in a sec. And I have this little ending song.
Do you have any questions for Kiera?
Right now, thank you for that wonderful presentation. But does anyone in the audience have any questions for our distinguished guest?
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to compliment on using the toxic positivity phrase, because I've been saying that quite often, how I'm annoyed by it, because everything has to be positive all the time, and in actuality, it's not always positive. So I'm very glad that you brought that up, especially how arts is tied in with emotion, and sometimes emotion isn't always positive. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you, I appreciate that. A lot of people still say, even though I'm talking about, oh, toxic positivity is an issue in our industry, right? Stay positive, just keep going. It's okay, you're too good for that, all like stuff like that. It can be a lot when it piles up, when it accumulates, so thank you, I really appreciate that compliment.
Any other questions or comments at this time?
It's okay, no pressure at all.
Well, on behalf of Sal, Kiera, we just want to thank you for coming to Quinnipiac today. So we do have a little gift courtesy of Sal. So first we have these Quinnipiac socks, right? Quinnipiac socks, very fuzzy. And then the second gift is, this is our mascot. His name is Boomer the Bobcat. We all love Boomer, so this is for you. Thank you so much for coming again. We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Oh, you guys have been absolutely wonderful. I'm so glad I got to spend my night with you guys. These are so cute.
So obviously, there's a lot of things that are going on, not only in terms of arts and arts management, but also in terms of student involvement, right? There's a lot of multifaceted things to think about. There's a lot of moving pieces. Anything that really goes for anything, but especially arts. And certainly here at Quinnipiac, trying to get that student involvement and that student engagement, that's all something, all of us here are leaders here of the student body. It's really something that we're trying to do. So I think this was a very informative presentation and a very helpful presentation of what we're doing here. And it's great that we have it on video because I know it's going to touch the lives and the perspectives and the thinking of everyone who's watching our YouTube. Thank you for watching whenever or wherever you are right now. But on behalf of Student Artists League, aka Sal, here at DeLeón, thank you so much for coming to Quinnipiac tonight.